Hi everybody, good evening. Welcome to Atlanta News First Plus. We are streaming out the first alert forecast on this cold but clear Sunday evening. Again, the skies cleared. We had all the clouds yesterday. They moved out yesterday evening. This morning we woke up to cold temperatures and we enjoyed sunshine today, but only managed mid to upper 40s. So definitely cold weather settling into North Georgia, but still within the normal end of things. Yes, the cold end of normal, and that will change though as we get into late in the work week and more so into the long Christmas holiday weekend. We'll get to those details in a moment, focusing on the extended portion of the forecast, because honestly, as far as the 7-day is concerned, that does look like the most impactful part of the first alert forecast. But in the meantime, we'll talk about what's going on right now for those last minute evening plans, and maybe you're looking at Christmas lights this evening or a late dinner, not even that late. It's 6:33, coming to you a little bit early. Newscast preempted by sports, so I wanted to make sure you still managed to get the first alert forecast, had a way to get a look at the work week and all of the weather that it has before the late newscast on starting at 9 p.m. or on 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. as well. And again, just going to wait a few more moments before diving too deeply into the forecast, letting some folks join. We just sent a push alert to the Atlanta News First app, talking about the forecast. That live stream, this particular one, is embedded in that story. So if you're coming from AtlantaNewsFirst.com, thanks for watching. The news app, thanks for watching. Also, we're available Roku, Amazon Fire, YouTube Live right now. In fact, I'm monitoring the comments on YouTube Live, also on Facebook Live right now. Atlanta News First YouTube account, the Atlanta News First Facebook account. If you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, those are the places to ask away, and we can have a little weather chat, get some clarification to you on the forecast. First, let's start with what's happening outside right now, and if you have been outside at all this evening, it is very chilly outside. Again, temperatures already back in the upper 30s and lower 40s. Even Blairsville up in the mid 30s, so it is chilly. In fact, cold. Probably already want that winter coat if you are outside this evening. And 41 in Atlanta, 38 LaGrange, 37 Carrollton, lower 40s Athens, Covington, Locust Grove, 41 at Rome. Keep in mind, this was taken about 50 minutes ago. Willing to bet at the moment it is probably a degree or two colder. In fact, you see Blairsville just now updating to 34. Temperatures dropping like a rock this evening, and it is going to be a cold one overnight tonight. Here is that hour-by-hour forecast. Clear, at least initially, but cold. Light breeze only adding to the cold factor. I think we're back in the mid to upper 30s in Atlanta by 9 p.m. Low to mid 30s for the late news, 11 p.m. Probably touching that freezing mark or so. Midnight 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, settling down to about 30. That's where we will bottom out in the city of Atlanta. Inside the perimeter, of course, colder outside of I-285 between maybe 6 and 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. There will be some high clouds moving in tonight, just those high wispy clouds kind of blocking out some of the stars. May, though, if we time this right, give us a nice sunrise on our Monday morning, and then clouds will thicken up through the day Monday. So the day may begin with some sunshine, but I think sun a little bit harder to find as we go through the day, especially on to Monday afternoon and Monday evening. All right, checking in on Facebook, noticing some comments coming in. Mike Everett, hello there, watching from Bethlehem, Georgia. Mary Ryan, waving right back at you. Thanks for watching. Wesley Millsap, watching from Ackworth. Good evening to you. And Angela Carter, a very Merry Christmas, responding with that Christmas tree. Again, if you have any weather questions, comments, concerns, Mike, Mary, Wesley, Angela, whether it is about the holiday weather or anything we have coming up tonight into tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, because we do have some weather to still talk about ahead of the big story, which is the big cold that is forecasted to filter into North Georgia and Metro Atlanta as we get into at the earliest, I think, Thursday evening, but by the latest point, mid to late Friday morning. By that point, I would say at the latest, reasonably so anyway, that's when the cold air is really going to start filtering in to North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So as chilly as this hour-by-hour forecast is tonight into our Monday morning, it is going to get much colder as we get into late week. Richard Frederick asking on the Atlanta News First Facebook page, are we getting snow? Good question, Richard. Cold air is a guarantee. And I do think that snow is a possibility, but not necessarily something that we're forecasting accumulation for. In fact, we'll talk about the setup there in just a moment. I do want to run you really quickly through that hour-by-hour forecast, but I will get back to your question there in just a moment. And I saw Mary Ryan on Facebook commented too, and I'll hop back to that in just a moment. Just want to run through the rest of tonight, back into tomorrow before we get too deep into that forecast. So let's sit through on Monday really quick, and then we'll talk about the big cold and that risk of some wintry weather as we approach the Christmas season. Notice tomorrow morning, waking up to some sunshine. I think there will be, though, some clouds mixed in there as well. 28 Sugar Hill, 27 in Lawrenceville. It is going to be a cold, in fact, freezing start just about everywhere, all across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. 28 Sugar Hill, Buford. If you live in South Fulton, you're not escaping this one. Mid to upper 20s out the door in the morning. Mid 20s Smyrna, 30 or so right there at the airport, though I think Buckhead, West Midtown, maybe 29 or so. 25 in McDonough, and we may drop these back down just a little bit more, down to like 29 or so. But I do think upper 20s to right at 30, most likely inside the urban core, Midtown, downtown, and then on down to the airport, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, which is the official kind of record keeper for the city of Atlanta. 20 in Blairsville, 25 in Canton, 25 Carrollton, mid-20s in LaGrange, Griffin, Covington, Athens as well. Dalton, low to mid-20s, and 26 in Rome. 28 Gainesville, Hall County, both ends of Lake Lanier for Scythe County, the west shore of the lake, Hall County. Everyone is cold on the north side tomorrow. Here is that hour-by-hour forecast. Again, we wake up to some clouds in the morning. Here we are overnight tonight. I think a lot of sun, though, too, especially the south side, but those high clouds streaming in from the west, giving us kind of a filtered sunshine to start the day. Here we are by 11 a.m. to noon. It's still going to be cold, still worthy of the jackets. Especially as those clouds thicken up and that light breeze continues. Temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s for North Georgia. I think low to mid 30s. I-20, the Metro Core, City of Atlanta included, and Point South. And as we go into the afternoon, notice how this particular model does have some sprinkles trying to develop here in East Alabama and far North Georgia. Not sure how much of this is going to reach the ground, but we do have a slight chance of rain tomorrow. I think sprinkles of anything, especially north and west. Metro Atlanta, at least initially, but here we are tomorrow evening. Some sprinkles trying to build deeper into the south side, Cleburne, Randolph counties in Alabama, Troup and Hurt counties in Georgia, including LaGrange. But a fairly quiet Monday night into Tuesday morning. And here we are by, after daybreak Tuesday, temperatures in the 30s to near 40, with a slightly greater chance of some of this moisture building in from the south and the southwest. So with increasing clouds tomorrow, temperatures in the upper 40s to near 50. That light breeze only adding to the chill factor. It is going to feel chilly tomorrow, much like it did today. So if you thought today was cold, tomorrow grab the jacket, keep it around, maybe that winter coat as well, because it is going to be pretty chilly in the first alert forecast. Now to talk about the big change, and that is Arctic air. We're already cold, but boy, is it going to get colder. Here comes the Arctic air moving southward as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think the core of this starting to settle in as we get into Friday afternoon on into to Saturday. In fact, I can change this here. We need to make one change to this. And this is going to be a look at Saturday morning here in just a moment. And this, I think, will provide some clarification there. We're going to, again, edit this for you so you have a better idea as to what is going on. And here we are Saturday morning, back to that graphic as I hop back into the weather computer here. And we'll have that up in just a moment for you. Again, it appears the weather computer may have locked up just a bit, so obviously, you see that image right in front of you. It is going to be cold Saturday morning. We're talking freezing weather, and here we are. So now we're going to save that, and here we go. We're going to play it back for you, give you the latest look. And really, it's becoming a pretty high-confidence forecast. And here we are, cold early week. Here comes the Arctic cold, the core of it starting to settle in second half of Friday into Saturday. And here we are Saturday morning. This is just a forecast model. One run of one computer model, but gives us a good idea of how cold it could be, and really isn't that far away from what our forecast is for Saturday morning. Forecasting a low of 15 in Atlanta, colder up in the mountains and the north side of the metro even. Temperatures in the lower teens, a possibility, and with the wind factored in, it'll feel like it's below zero to perhaps the single digits. So back to Richard's question, Richard Frederick on the Atlanta News First Facebook page. Are we getting snow? Mary Ryan said, should we be covering our pipes every day this week starting tonight? No, that's not a big concern. Though tonight up in the mountains, it is going to be cold enough to maybe cause some minor issues, but really it is going to be, you should make your preps before, so covering pipes every day. So really you should just wrap your pipes, then you can just set it and forget it. It's Mary, it's kind of part of just winterizing your home. You could have even done it back in October, November. You can leave the spigot open, but wrap the pipes and then wait until the actual cold arrives and you put that cover on, where you twist it and you lock it, but that way you can still use them even before the heart of the cold arrives. So Mary Ryan, early week a good time to prepare, but in reality, the cold weather, the type of cold that could cause the pipe issues, really more likely to filter in by Friday afternoon, evening, night into Saturday morning, possibly again Saturday evening, Saturday night, Sunday morning, and again Sunday evening, Sunday night, Monday morning before we really start to moderate or those temperatures start to warm back up. So hopefully, Mary, that does answer your question. Valerie Lee Comp saying change it to warm. Wish I could. Actually, I wish we could keep it cold, maybe not this cold, but no changing that forecast. And Deborah Harris saying, goodness, I'll be so glad when it's over. A lot of folks love the chill, especially around the holiday season. But what I will say is that this is some pretty cold air. We're talking temperatures back in the teens. And with the wind factored in, it is going to feel much colder than that, below zero in spots. So we're talking bitter cold on the way for North Georgia, Metro Atlanta. In fact, let's talk about that process because it's going to arrive, looks like most likely on our Friday. We'll change that weather graphic for you. And again, the story here is the fact that we are going to have a bitterly cold into the week and start of next weekend. That is the holiday weekend. And we're going to break out Friday out of that 7-day forecast because there's a lot of weather to talk about, even preceding this Arctic air blast late in the work week on into next weekend. So frigid air is forecast to arrive. You see the temperatures dropping there. And as we get into our Thursday, the chance of rain starts to increase. But in reality, I do have that chance of clouds in the forecast and rain in the forecast as early as later tomorrow, sprinkles, and then on into the Wednesday and Thursday time period. So a lot of weather to talk about. It's going to get gloomy first, and then it's going to get a little rainy, and then it looks like we're going to have some big time cold in the forecast as we get into the start of the weekend. Again, here's the latest update for you. You can look at those icons, get a better idea of the cloudiness. Notice how we have the gloom in the forecast. Clouds build in tomorrow, spotty rain possible, especially late and especially west. And then first day of winter, it's certainly feeling like it. Chance of some lingering drizzle, lots of clouds on our Wednesday. Could be some light rain. We're going to be watching that Wednesday forecast closely. May have to bump up that rain chance, but a little uncertain right now. And then I do think that drizzle at least, maybe some light rain showers increasing Thursday. So first alert to rainier weather. Also first alert though, cold air could arrive as early as Thursday evening. I think more likely early Friday morning. At the latest, I would say mid to late Friday morning, the real heart of the blast arrives across North Georgia, Metro Atlanta. So let's pull Friday out of the forecast. This is appearing to be the biggest time period of change here. And notice as we get into the day, it may start off as some sprinkles, and depending on exactly when this front moves through, that'll determine how cold, how fast the cold rather gets here. So we may wake up to 40s to near 50 in spots on our Friday, but if the front arrives maybe 2 a.m. Friday, we're not going to wake up to temperatures that warm. We will wake up to temperatures closer to freezing. Either way, falling through the day, I think that the warmest temperatures of our Friday will be Friday morning, perhaps as early as, midnight, 2 a.m., and then falling through the day so that, actual temperatures, what the thermometer reads, will be back in the 20s pretty easily as we get into a late morning to the afternoon, and some data indicating we could fall into the teens. Friday, late afternoon, early evening, with the wind factored in, it'll feel even colder. Single digits, a safe bet for what it'll feel like. But some of the data and just looking at the setup, I would not at all be surprised if that forecast wind chill of 2 p.m. on our Friday ends up being just a little bit colder. Again, this is looking like not only a big time cold blast, but also one that is going to be accompanied by quite a bit of wind. And it does look like that wind will stick around into our Saturday, even as temperatures fall back into the single digits and the teens. In fact, here is that 7-day forecast. We'll bring the rest of the forecast back out for you, and notice as we bring Saturday into the picture, forecasting 15 degrees Saturday morning in Atlanta. with even a light breeze with a temperature of 15, it's going to feel like it's in the single digits, but that breeze could be pretty pesky, so we could wake up to real feel or wind chill temperatures back in the single digits on our Saturday, and some folks probably waking up with temperatures feeling like it's below zero from Friday evening, Friday night, Saturday morning. Similarly cold on Sunday. I think wind's a little lighter, maybe temperatures a couple of degrees warmer on our Sunday morning, Christmas morning, going for low temperatures in the upper teens in Atlanta, but I think low to mid-teens further outlying up towards, Canton, Cherokee County, Blairsville. Of course, our mountain communities will be colder. This is going to be a pretty strong cold blast, and as far as that chance of wintry weather, you see the chance of rain Thursday, but it does look like Friday, and we'll go back to that hour-by-hour forecast. On our Friday, it does look like whatever moisture there is could transition over to light flurries, some sleet pellets, technically wintry weather, but it doesn't look like it's going to amount to that much. It'll be very cold, the wind will be howling, and the kind of setup where you may see a few flurries whizzing by your head as you go out, if you do, on Friday, and then it will dry out and the winds will continue, perhaps windiest in the afternoon and early evening. But we will not only dry out but clear out, and temperatures will really tumble. So the big story, the main impact is the cold, and more so the cold factored in with the wind. We're talking very windy weather, sustained 15 to 25 easily, maybe up to about 30. That's more of that constant wind, but gusts possibly over 40 miles an hour, perhaps up to 45 or so. So very windy and very cold. You factor those two together and we're talking dangerously low wind chills, as you saw in that graphic, feeling like it is in the single digits to at times below zero. This is a fairly conservative forecast here, and some of the data we look at is colder, so we need to watch for those trends. We may have to play with numbers here. It could be 45 or so Friday morning out the door, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning at the latest. If that front does not arrive, or maybe takes that latest scenario, 10, 11 in the morning or so, we could manage 40 to near 50, but then it could drop 30 degrees or more in the matter of a few hours, 4 or 5 hours or so. And that'll put temperatures back in the lower 30s, below freezing, into the 20s as we get into the middle of the afternoon, and winds will be howling at that point out of the north and west, perhaps gusting over 40 miles an hour, making it feel pretty cold. In fact, here's an average wind chill, another graphic here, breaking this down morning by morning. This is just a peek at what it may feel like on average, just a snapshot of each morning in the city of Atlanta for the next several days. Notice it may feel like the mid-20s tomorrow morning with an actual temperature around 30. Light breeze will do that, feeling like it's in the mid-30s Tuesday morning, mid-30s Wednesday morning, and 40 or so degrees Thursday morning, but this all depends on the timing of the front. I think the lowest wind chills on average in the city of Atlanta, looking at single digits, first alert for Friday, single digits again Saturday, first alert. Certainly want to bundle up where all the layers, and if you can, avoid going outdoors for an extended period of time. And then Sunday, it's going to be cold. The wind a little lighter Sunday morning, but temperatures in the teens, even a light breeze. We'll have it feeling like it's in the single digits to near 10 degrees. That is Sunday, Christmas morning. So that 23rd through Christmas Day stretch is looking absolutely frigid, especially with the combination of the already cold temperatures, but then you factor in the wind, and it's going to feel even colder and perhaps becoming dangerously cold across parts of the region. But to answer that question again, cold the big factor. There is a chance of some flurry, some sleet pellets flying by. Mainly, it could be a pretty quick transition, though. Sometimes we have rain, and then freezing rain, and then sleet, then snow. In this case, we could have some sprinkles, some very light rain showers Thursday, transition over to flurries and very light snow showers for the most part. But we'll be watching the setup. Could there be a burst or two of more significant snow, especially up in the mountains of North Georgia? It's possible, something we'll be watching out for as we get into, especially during the day Friday, as the cold air really takes hold of our forecast, and as we really start to feel that bone-chilling feel as we get into our Friday and our Saturday. But I think Friday night into Saturday we really start to clear out, and then the stories you see here becomes the cold factored in with the wind, and with those two together, the dangerous cold we'll be feeling across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. This is definitely going to be a good setup to keep an eye on the forecast. Probably already know that, probably already are. Not just on TV, but we stream to you like we are right now. Also, AtlantaNewsFirst.com is a good place to get the latest First Alert forecast in two places right there on the homepage. And not only the next 7 days, but all you have to do is scroll down below current conditions, click on our forecast grid here, 10 days out. And yes, we finally cracked 50 by the 27th, the Tuesday after Christmas. And morning lows still below freezing, but hey, at least it's warming up a little bit. We're not talking wind chills below zero. We're talking temperatures that will be on more of the normal end of cold as we get into the days after Christmas. But generally a cold pattern for much of the United States east of the Rockies, some of the Intermountain and Northwest as well. But looking coldest leading up to Christmas, and then after Christmas we could warm up a bit, and no sure signs of wintry weather even Christmas Day or after Christmas. But for those that are asking about wintry weather in this type of a pattern, we will be watching for even a minor ripple in the jet stream, even a minor little ripple in the atmosphere storm system. Does not take much to get a few flakes. Not looking likely right now, but we'll be watching the setup and keeping you updated here over the next several days. The big factor is the cold and the wind, the combination. That feels like temperature is going to be frigid out there. In fact, here is that forecast kind of centered in on Christmas weekend. High temperature Friday, probably early in the day, could be morning, of around 33. You know, it depends on exactly when that front moves through. If it moves through 11 p.m. Thursday, we're not going to warm up to 33 Friday. If it moves through maybe 9, 10 a.m. Friday, we may get to 33. You know, early or maybe even 40s, but the majority of the day will feel temperatures and you'll be in the teens and the 20s. Low temperature of 15 Saturday morning, staying below freezing Saturday afternoon. That's Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Another morning in the teens, thankfully with lighter winds, not as bad of wind chills, but still frigid, still, you know, could be dangerously cold if you're outside for an extended period of time. And as we look at that Sunday, Christmas Day, you know, the afternoon forecast, as a lot of folks are spending times with their family, it is going to be absolutely frigid. Technically, you know, looking like it's going to warm above freezing, 34 in Atlanta. That means a lot of spots probably failing to hit 32 or the freezing mark with the temperature in the teens. Again, Sunday morning. It could be again the morning of the 26th, Monday after Christmas. Big travel day once again, upper teens, lower 20s possible as we get ready to go back to work, back to, well, not back to school for most, but back to work and kind of back into the normal gist of things by the 26th. We're still going to be hanging on to some of that cold air, and it's worth keeping an eye on to see if we do have any alterations to the forecast, any even minor little ripples in the atmosphere that could help boost that chance of wintry weather. Not looking likely right now, but something we'll be watching pretty carefully over the next several days. So now that we've talked about the cold, again, we'll keep you updated. I'm going to post the latest web story from AtlantaNewsFirst.com in the Facebook comments of this. Also, the YouTube comments will post that. And again, keeping you updated across all platforms, not just myself, First Alert meteorologist Rodney Harris, Ella Dorsey, Courtney Jacobazzi, Fred Campagna, Jennifer Valdez, the entire team working over the next several days to keep you, your family, your loved ones, and your visitors to North Georgia, of course, celebrating the holiday season, updated, because this is a pretty significant weather event impacting North Georgia, Metro Atlanta. Cold, the big factor, the certainty, but could there be some slick spots? Possibly as we get into our Friday. Could there be some wintry weather? Yes, here in North Georgia, and certainly yes, especially well to our north and west. If you're heading up to Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, you know, western North Carolina, up in the mountains, Virginia, if you're traveling up in these areas, the risk of wintry weather impacting travel will be greater. So again, going to leave you with that Christmas forecast. We're back on TV and your streaming platforms here starting at 9 p.m., that 10 o'clock hour, as well as being back on Atlanta News First at 11 p.m. You can watch those newscasts, the First Alert forecast, anywhere you're streaming this weather chat. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening. And again, the entire team will keep you updated here over the next several days.